Hello and welcome to everyone who is joining us from around the world. My name is Ron Hoppe and I'm with WorldWide HealthStaff Solutions. I'm very pleased to welcome everyone today to our continuing webinar series where we are highlighting resources and services that support international nurses on their journey to the U.S. and making their relocation as seamless as possible. This morning, I'm very pleased to welcome Ms. Afia Arneja. She is the Senior Vice President of International AutoSource. International AutoSource is the leading global service provider for auto leasing and financing for expats and immigrants from around the world who are headed to the United States. Afia, welcome and thank you for joining us. I've been looking forward to this session for some time now, and I know that those that have joined us live today and those that will be receiving this recording are looking forward to hearing from you. So thank you again for joining us. We look forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of your webinar today. Hello, everyone. My name is Afia Arneja. I'm with International AutoSource. Let me first start by thanking all of our healthcare professionals around the world that are fighting this pandemic. We thank you for your sacrifice. We're very grateful to you, and we pray every day that you are safe and healthy. So today's webinar is about our program, our Healthcare Advantage program. And what I'd like to be able to do in this session is hopefully to share some of the challenges that our healthcare professionals that move to the United States face, particularly when it comes to purchasing, owning, and driving a vehicle in the United States. Let's start by understanding the 4 key components to car ownership in the US. The first component is US credit history. Now, the reason why US credit history is so critical is because it allows lenders to assess the risk of loaning money by showing them how you pay your loans back and how you pay back your obligations. Now, I want to emphasize that an automobile inherently is a higher credit risk to banks or lenders because it's a moving object. So I just want you to imagine for a second that you go to a bank and you ask them for a mortgage or a loan on a home. If you don't pay that loan, the bank knows exactly where that home is. And that's why automobiles carry a higher risk for lenders. Now you can see that there are very few banks that provide loans to foreign nationals moving here because, number one, there's no credit history, and then they want a loan for a moving object. And for that reason, very few banks will even provide loans. And those that do provide them at a very high interest rate. The reason why is because they want to recuperate their loan amount as fast as possible, and they do that through inflated interest rates. And then they most definitely put amounts, limits, and restrictions on the amounts that you can borrow. And again, they do that because they want to limit their credit risk. Now, that causes problems for our healthcare professionals because if they're moving here with a family, that forces them to purchase a vehicle because of the restriction on the loan amount that may not fit their family's needs. For example, a family may have to buy a vehicle that's a compact sedan and it's just not big enough for their family. And then they also require you to put money down. Banks know that when you invest your own money in a loan, you're less likely to walk away from that loan or stop making payments. So International AutoSource recognized that the options that are available in the market right now for our nurses and healthcare professionals that move to the States is just not adequate, mostly because many of our clients that move to the United States don't have savings to put down on a loan, and the interest rates make those payments unaffordable. So for that reason, we've provided a better solution. Through our program, we're able to offer our healthcare professionals rates as low as 3.99%. Now, it's important to understand, why can we offer these rates whereas other lenders can't? And the answer is very simple. We've been serving the healthcare industry for over 15 years. We've been working with banks who have provided thousands of loans to our healthcare professionals over many, many years. and they've tracked the performance of these loans. And they know that our healthcare candidates that move here, even though they don't have a credit history, pay their loans on time, and they're not high credit risk for them. And for that reason, they continue to offer these very exceptional rates that are not available anywhere else. In addition to that, they don't put restrictions on the amount that you can borrow. Now, let me just qualify that. Of course, there's limits on the amount that you can borrow, but those limits are not based on the fact that you don't have a credit history. They're based on the how much income you make. It's the same restrictions as an American would have. Loan amounts are based on how much income you make. So for that reason, our customers can afford vehicles that fit their lifestyle. Now, it's important to know that International AutoSource helps our candidates when they come here to purchase the right priced vehicle based on their income and based on their budget. We want our customers to be happy with the decision that of the vehicle that they purchase that fits their lifestyle and a payment that they can easily afford. So again, International AutoSource is able to offer rates as low as 3.99%. And I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but the reason why we're able to offer these rates is because we've been working with banks for over 15 years, and our banks have been tracking our performance on the loans that we provide our healthcare providers. And for that reason, they're seeing that just because our customers don't have a credit history doesn't mean that they are bad credit risks. So they continue to provide loans for our customers at this rate. And in addition to that, they don't put loan limits on the amount that you can borrow. And that allows our customers to afford vehicles that fit their lifestyle. Now, it's important to know that we guide our customers and make sure that our customers are purchasing the right priced vehicle that they can afford comfortably. And because we are part of that transaction, our loan portfolios perform very well. So now the next component is a U.S. driving history. So a U.S. driving history allows our insurance companies to calculate the insurance premiums. Let's take a look at how insurance companies calculate the insurance premium. And insurance companies take the U.S. driving history into account. How many years you've been driving in the U.S., what your U.S. credit history looks like. Now, the reason why they look at your U.S. credit history is because when they see that you are paying your loans on time, that you're a reliable person that can pay your obligations on time, that indicates that you are probably not going to be a high-risk driver. They also take your age into consideration. Age means experience. They also take the type of vehicle that you're going to be driving. Is it a sports car or is it a family sedan? And that makes a difference on your insurance premium. Where you live also makes a difference. So whether you live in the suburbs or whether you live in a congested city area does make a difference on your insurance premium, as well as your accident or ticket history. So all of this is put into the calculation so that an insurance company can assess their risk and provide you with the insurance premium. The problem is when you don't have a driving history in the United States, the insurance company can't calculate their risk. So what do? They put you in a high-risk category. And that means they treat you as if you're 17 years old and you just got your driver's license. And those insurance premiums can be extremely expensive. So International AutoSource knew that we have to solve this problem. So we partnered with insurance companies that will provide low-rate insurance even though you don't have any driving history. So again, our insurance companies have had 15 years worth of experience looking at our clients that have bought insurance through them and track that history. And they are confident that our customers are not high-risk drivers. I'm just going to take a sound check. Could you please just tell me in the chat that you can hear me?
We can hear you clearly, Afia. Thank you.
Okay. So the next component is the price negotiation. So negotiating a price for a vehicle is a very stressful and time-consuming process. Even Americans, when they're in the market to buy a car, find it very, very frustrating to deal with dealers and salespeople when it comes to negotiating a price on a car. Now imagine you walk into a dealership and you have no credit history, no down payment. It literally gives you no bargaining power with that dealership to negotiate price. Very often, we speak to candidates that didn't go through our program and we examine what did they buy. And in every single case, they've overpaid for their vehicle because number one, they have no negotiating power. And number two, they just don't have the personality to negotiate with car dealers. Now, every once in a while, we'll have somebody say, hey, listen, I'm not really worried about price negotiation because my family has lived in the United States and they know how to purchase vehicles, so I know I'm going to get it the best price. But through International AutoSource, we have pre-negotiated factory direct prices. Now, that means that we're able to negotiate the very lowest prices for our candidates because of our volume. Our volume allows us to go to our manufacturers and go to our dealer networks and negotiate prices that you simply can't negotiate and that are not available to the general public, and with no money down. Now here, I've kind of given you some examples of the type of manufacturers that we offer. And as our program has expanded over the years, our network of dealers have expanded and manufacturers have expanded. So we're able to offer many, many products. I just listed a few of the popular ones here. So the next component is vehicle licensing and registration. This is probably one that's overlooked, mostly because people don't understand how complicated it is until they arrive in the United States. The US comprises of 50 different states, 50 different rules, 50 different combinations of documents, and because of that, it can be very daunting to figure out what do I need to get my car on the road. International AutoSource has expert knowledge of all of the licensing and registration requirements in all of the 50 states and the counties that belong to those 50 states. We provide full support with licensing and registration throughout the United States. So when you try to do this on your own, many times our candidates are facing going to the motor vehicles department where you go to register your vehicle and having multiple trips there because they've got the wrong documentation or they've got missing documentation. And it's a very frustrating process. But through our program, we support you fully so that when you do go to register your vehicle, you have the right documents and it's a smooth transaction for you. So now that we understand the four components and how International AutoSource solves those problems, our Healthcare Advantage program puts those solutions in three distinct categories. The first category is savings. We save our clients money on the price of the vehicle through our pre-negotiated prices, through our factory direct relationships with our manufacturers and our dealer networks. We save you money on our low interest rates through our banks, and we save money through our low-cost insurance through our insurance companies. Those three areas, when you add up the savings in those three areas, we save our clients thousands of dollars over them doing this on their own. The next area is convenience. No down payment is required, as we mentioned before, but we also are able to give our customers a wide selection of vehicles in one place. So that means that rather than go from one dealer to another, getting quotes for different models and different makes, in the convenience of their home, we're able to provide them with information on specifications, prices, and payments so that they can calculate and review their options very easily without ever leaving their home. We also provide access to rental car as soon as they arrive. Now, most of our candidates are absolutely shocked when they get to the United States and realize the lack of public transportation here. And very quickly, they realize that just going to the grocery store becomes a very big chore without having personal transportation. So through our program, we provide access to a rental car as soon as they arrive in the United States. Now, this is particularly convenient for our clients that may have to go to one facility for training before they end up at their final location. They're mobile right away. They're able to move around and do what they get to work, do their groceries, do whatever they need to do for their lifestyle because we provide them with the rental car as soon as they arrive. And then we handle all of their automotive needs in one place. their financing, the car, the insurance. We're handling it all in one place. They don't have to go seek this out and speak to different people. Then the third category is service. And in my opinion, this is why our program is so successful. We provide our clients with a dedicated representative from the beginning of the transaction through the entire journey. This representative is there to help our clients with the documentation required from the finance company, to help them with vehicle registration process, to help them coordinate the delivery of their vehicle, so that we take the burden of logistics and the details away from our customers so that they can focus on the things that are important to them, like how am I going to get to work? Where are my kids going to go to school? Where am I going to live? That's what's more important to them. So we take the burden of the card and the logistics and the paperwork so they can focus on their life when they move here. So now that we understand our Healthcare Advantage program, I'm sure that in the audience we have people saying, great, how does this work? What are the steps for us to engage with this program? So here's what our suggested steps are. The first step is get your driver's license while you are overseas. We cannot stress this enough. Please get your driver's license while you're overseas. First, it costs less for you to learn how to drive in your home country. And then secondly, and more importantly, is that you will be able to get your US license much faster and easier when you have your home country license. Now, I'm going to get into a little bit of detail here because I really want to emphasize the point and illustrate how difficult it is when you arrive in the United States without a home country license. Now, we understand moving your life from one country to another is a very hectic time. There's so much that you have to do. And now adding getting your license on top of the list of priorities can seem overwhelming. But I want you to consider the time and the steps that it takes to get a US license when you don't have a home country license. The first thing that you need to do is get a learner's permit when you arrive. Now, in order to get a learner's permit, you have to have a Social Security card. Now, when you arrive in the United States, you're more than likely going to wait at least 30 days before you get a Social Security card. Now you have your Social Security card, you apply for your driver's permit. Now you can go to a driving school and learn how to drive. Most states require you to have at least 40 to 50 hours of practicing with a licensed driver, whether it be a family member or a friend, before you can apply for a driving test. And in the new COVID environment, the driving tests are really delayed. If you booked a driving exam today, you probably wouldn't get an appointment for 30 to 60 days from now. So my point here really is that if you arrive in the United States without a home country license, you are probably going to be waiting for a US license between 2 to 5 months. That's 2 to 5 months of asking for rides, waiting for the bus if and when it comes, or taking Ubers, okay? And I can tell you that without personal transportation in the United States, the quality of life deteriorates very rapidly. So please make sure that you put this on your list of priorities to get your license overseas. But in the event that you do arrive in the United States and you don't have a driver's license, we do have access to a driving program in all 50 states that we can give you access to, okay? But again, please get your driver's license while you're overseas. Okay, so then the next step is that we need you to contact us as soon as you have your embassy appointment or as soon as you have completed your embassy interview. We want you to contact us as early as possible because we want to give you the maximum options of vehicles available and the maximum savings. When you contact us early, that allows you to custom build your vehicle, select from a wider pool of options available to you, and you are able to lock in promotions and finance rates that might not be available later on. So it's key to make sure that you contact us as early in the process so that we can start talking to you about what the options are available and start the process with you. The next step now is for us, once you contact us, International AutoSource will assign you a dedicated representative that will go over and review your needs. So in that phone call, we determine what are your needs? What is your lifestyle? What is the size of your family? What is your budget requirements? And most importantly, where are you going to live? We want to make sure that you're buying the right type of vehicle for the place and area that you're going to live, for the weather conditions and the terrain of that area, so that you have the right vehicle. Then we determine whether you need a rental car upon arrival, so we can arrange that for you, and when you need your vehicle, so the vehicle is there when you need it. Then the final step is, once you arrive in the United States, you contact your representative, you complete your finance documentation, and you complete the licensing and registration documentation, and we schedule the pickup of your vehicle. And now, as we are expanding and enhancing our program, we even offer home delivery in many states and many manufacturers, so that you never have to walk into a dealership. So that kind of gives you a really good overview of our program. And now I'm going to tell you the last slide is our contact slide. For those of you that are listening, if you're a healthcare professional that is moving here soon, you can still hear me?
We can hear you fine.
Okay, I just got nervous. Okay. So if you're a healthcare professional out there and you're thinking about moving here and you want to get more information, please contact us at either our website or email us and we'll reach out to you. If you're a recruiter or a hospital that is interested in getting this information, you can again contact us and we'll help you. So now I understand that we're going to go to questions.
Afia, thank you so much. That's just fantastic information. And let me just share with everyone that has joined us today, the purpose of putting on these webinars and the reason that Worldwide Health Staff is doing this is simply to provide applicants, whether they are Worldwide Health Staff applicants or applicants just coming to the U.S. through other means. Our goal is really to provide you with information. Information is power, and to provide you with the resources that you need to make your relocation experience to the U.S. As seamless as possible. We do have time to take questions. Please feel free to enter those into the chat feature on your screen. Afia, we have a number of questions coming in. The first of those is, does International AutoSource have a recommended vehicle or list of vehicles that are great fits for healthcare professionals moving to the U.S.?
Yes, we do. And the fast answer to that is it really depends on, again, what the vehicle is going to be used for. So we have categories of vehicles based on whether the person is going to be living in an area where they may need a four-wheel drive vehicle, or if they're a single person that needs to have a compact sedan. So we do have recommended vehicles in each category, whether it's a compact sedan, a full-size sedan, or an SUV. We do have recommended vehicles, but of course our customers also have choice, right?
Sure.
They want to have choice. So we really that phone call that we talked about, where we assess your needs, that's where we ask you, what is the most important thing to you? And some people say, listen, it's all about my budget. I want to be able to afford the vehicle and I want to stay within a certain budget. So then we would recommend vehicles for their budget. But if they are more, they want a larger size vehicle because they're family, we recommend it that way. So there are a lot of available options, and a vehicle for almost any person that is moving here, we have a fit.
All right. Afia, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but would you be able to share maybe what would be one or two of the more popular vehicles, say, for a single person? And maybe what would be one or two of the most popular vehicles, say, for a family of 3 or 4?
That's an easy one. So Toyota Camry is usually the most popular vehicle for a single person. And then the Toyota RAV4 is one of the popular models. And again, Toyota is popular because I think a lot of our candidates come from the Philippines, and it's a product that they're familiar with.
Okay, very good. We've got a lot of questions coming in. We'll get to them just as quickly as we can. The next question, Afia, is can you please elaborate more about the car rental service or rent-a-car service that you are providing? Okay,
so when you use our program and you order a vehicle from us, it depends on what your situation is. So many times what we find is that, let's say, for instance, you're moving to a state where the registration process is going to take 30 days before you can register your vehicle and pick it up. In that 30 days, you still need to be mobile. So we will provide our customers with a rental car. We find out ahead of time where they're going to be. We arrange for them to pick up that vehicle so that they can be mobile. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you. The questions are coming in very quickly, and thank you everyone for sharing those questions. We're going to get to as many of them as we can. The next question, Afia, is from Michael, and Michael asks, aside from the home country driving license, do you still need to have some sort of an international license before arriving in the United States?
Okay, so it's either or, and let me qualify it by saying it this way, because I know that we have a worldwide audience here. An international license is simply a home country license in English. Okay, so that's what that really is. So as long as your home country license is in English, then that is considered an adequate license. So it's usually in countries where it's in a foreign language that we need to have it translated. That's what an international license does. It translates it into English. So if you have a home country license from the Philippines or from a country where it is a license is in English, that is sufficient. But if it is in Chinese, let's say, that's when you need to get an international license so that they can actually recognize that it's a license.
All right, very good. Afia, the next question is, what is the down payment that is required?
There's no down payment. It's a zero down program that is available to our customers. So that is important for most of our clients to understand, because we realize they don't have savings to put money down on a car, and that is one of the big features of our program.
All right, great information. Afia, we have a number of questions that are around the issue of used vehicles. Now, can you speak to that whole issue for a moment? If somebody is thinking of getting a used vehicle, just if you can share your perspective on that.
Okay, so one of the reasons why we don't offer a used vehicle is really reliability, right? And so and used cars are subjective, right? So what one person considers a good condition, another person may not consider it good condition. And used cars do inherently have higher interest rates. So what we find is when we compare a used car with a low-end new car, the payment difference is negligible. That's why we encourage our clients to take new cars, especially for the reliability factor, because the repairs that come with used cars end up costing you more over the life of a used car.
Sure. And all the new cars come with a full manufacturer's warranty as well,
full
correct?
Manufacturer's warranty, yes.
All right. Afia, the next question is, do you ever have individuals purchasing e-vehicles, electronic vehicles?
If the manufacturer offers the vehicle, yes, we do. I mean, that's becoming more and more, as people are becoming more and more conscious about, pollution and things like that. If the manufacturers offer, I'm assuming you're talking about the battery-operated vehicles.
Yes.
Yeah, so they are available with certain manufacturers, and if that's an option that our clients are looking for, they generally tend to be more expensive, though.
Right. All right. Very good. The next question that we have, Afia, is a co-guarantor or sponsor required for financing the car? Is there a third-party guarantor required?
No, there's no guarantor required. And again, I'm just going to elaborate on that a little bit, because sometimes we do have clients say to us, well, I'm not so concerned about getting a loan because I have a family member that will co-sign a loan for me. The problem is if the family member is not in the same state as where our client is going to be living, they can't co-sign.
Okay.
But through our program, there's no co-signer required.
Okay, great. That's great information. I have a really interesting question. We have an individual who is soon going to be arriving and working in Brooklyn, New York. They're asking what type of vehicle might be most suitable for that type of environment.
Well, we got 6 inches of snow yesterday, so so New York is a really unpredictable state. Sometimes we have nothing at all as far as bad weather, and sometimes we get clobbered, and we are this season. So it really depends on the budget. There are vehicles, they're four-wheel drive subcompact vehicles that are available, and particularly in Brooklyn for parking reasons, I would say the size of the vehicle matters.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Let me just, I want to just go back for a moment to something you touched on in your presentation about the appropriate time for someone to first contact you to get the process started. And just want to revisit that for a moment. You had mentioned at the time that the embassy interview is completed. Is it ever appropriate for someone to contact you, say, when their embassy interview was first scheduled, say, that's generally about 30 days or so ahead of the time of the actual interview? What is really the ideal time for someone to first contact you?
Ron, you said it perfectly. That is the ideal time. The ideal time is when you get your embassy interview, because that gives you more time and more vehicle selection. That's what it's really about. I just want to stress that, in this COVID environment, manufacturers' production is very limited, which means there's less cars on the road right now because the production has been so suppressed. And because of that, vehicle demands are very high. So that's why I'm kind of trying to emphasize, please contact us as soon as you have your embassy interview so the selection is available to you, because right now, because of this COVID environment, there's very limited product out there to begin with. And we don't want you to have to buy something. Most of our customers, this is the first time they're ever buying a car, and we want them to be really happy with their decision. They're going to live with that car for a while. So we want to make sure that they're happy for several years and having a good experience with their vehicle. So that's why we're saying contact us as early as possible. Now, that doesn't mean that it's too late if you don't contact us. Of course, we're going to try to find you the best fit, but then you end up buying a color that you really didn't want or options that you really didn't want. So that's why when you get your embassy interview is the perfect time for you to reach out to us.
All right. And now we have, Afia, your contact information is up on the screen here. Is this the best contact information to use for making that first contact with you?
Yes. If you could reach us at any one of these contact information, we'll reach out to you.
All right. And when someone does make that first inquiry, what's the initial response that they should expect to receive?
So what will happen is that we have a team of people that will reach out initially to the candidate to book an appointment that's convenient for you, so you're prepared for a phone call from us. So we're not going to just call out of the blue and start talking about our program. We'll first reach out to you, make sure that it's a convenient time, and then we'll have our representative that will be talking to you about vehicles and options and prices. So that's why we want to schedule at least a 15-20-minute phone call.
Okay, great. Afia, could you take a moment and for the benefit of those that have joined us today, take a moment and just speak to the differences between leasing and purchasing a vehicle?
Okay, so leasing is really just a long-term rental. Okay, that's what leasing is. And one of the reasons, I just want to correct it here a little bit, is that we don't offer a leasing program for our healthcare customers because it is a long-term rental and there's a significant down payment required for leasing.
Right.
And that's why it just doesn't fit our customers.
Sure. Afia, a question has come in about whether you can help an individual that is an immigrant, has arrived as an immigrant, but they are already in the U.S. Are you able to serve that individual as well?
Yes, absolutely. We can help anybody that's here that is looking for a vehicle. We'll try our best to find you the right vehicle. Again, this is where the limitations come from. If they need a vehicle right away, that's where we have to look at the options that are available for them immediately.
Okay. All right. Very good. Now, when someone contacts you and all the arrangements are made, the exact vehicle is selected and so on and so forth, generally, how long does it take for that vehicle to be delivered once somebody arrives in the United States?
So if we work with the timeline that we're talking about here, Ron, which is contact us when you have your embassy interview, we make sure that the car arrives when our customer needs it.
Okay.
Okay, it's usually when, like the situation you just talked about, when somebody's already here, then it's a little bit challenging to get the vehicle right away. But we still can get a vehicle within a few weeks.
Okay, so let's just to be even a little bit more granular. So let's say I've had my embassy interview. I was in touch with you, 3 or 4 weeks before my embassy interview, and right now everything's on track for me to be arriving in the United States on March the 1st.
Okay.
I'm arriving on March the 1st. I'm arriving here in Charlotte, North Carolina. How soon after March the 1st might my vehicle be available to me?
As soon as you need it, if we've talked to you ahead of time, we make sure that's that initial phone call. We find out when do you need the vehicle, what date do you need the vehicle, and as long as the registration process allows you to take delivery and register that vehicle, we can have it immediately as soon as you arrive.
Okay, so literally, if I arrive on March the 1st, I could have my vehicle March the 2nd. That's amazing. That's a tremendous feature of the International AutoSource program, and I'm sure a lot of those that are with us today will be very glad to hear that. Have a very specific question here, and perhaps I don't know if we can answer this, but somebody is asking that they're looking to have a GMC Acadia.
I saw that
with a GMC Acadia, and they're just asking sort of what's the kind of what would be the income requirement to be able to access that type of a vehicle.
You're probably going to be looking at about a little bit more than $50,000 per year.
Okay, so that's great. So if everybody didn't hear that answer in response to acquiring a vehicle similar to a GMC Acadia, the answer was you would need to have an income somewhere more than $50,000 a year. And for our registered nurse candidates, for the nurses that are arriving in the U.S., that really shouldn't be an issue. But as always, as Afia said, you have to consider your overall budget, not just the amount of funds that you're directing to your automobile.
Ron, I did see a very interesting question, and that is the 3.99 rate for the entire term of the loan. Yes.
Right.
Again, there's different loan segments and promotional rates, and there are restrictions on certain promotional rates, but it is for the entire term of the loan.
Okay. So that's also very good news. It's not just that it's at that rate for a short period of time and then it goes up. So. And the loan terms generally, Afia, are how long?
They can be, the typical loan terms are usually 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and it really depends on the monthly payment that and the budget that our customer is looking for.
Okay, all right. What would you say from your experience are some things, that applicants, individuals coming to the U.S. may or may not do that would perhaps complicate or delay the overall process? What are the things that you need to have for the process to flow smoothly?
Driver's license.
All right.
Driver's license. I cannot express that enough. I see somebody said that they have an international driver's license that's expired. I think Tony Wood is asking that question. Should he wait or should he renew his license? Please renew your license before you come here. It becomes a much smoother process. We can't rent you a car if you don't have a home country license.
Okay.
So that's usually the biggest roadblock, because that's why I went into a little bit of detail, Ron, on the process that it takes to get a U.S. license. It's a 5-month process. And for those 5 months, that's what frustrates us, is that for those 5 months, you could have been driving, but now we have to wait until we can provide you with a vehicle.
All right. We've had a number of questions around this issue, or this question of rental cars. I know that was mentioned earlier, and I think I'm interpreting the questions correctly. So if there is for whatever reason, a period of time where an applicant's vehicle may not be immediately available when they arrive, is there the option for them to have some vehicle, access to some vehicle in the interim time?
Yeah, that's why we have our rental car program. That's why we designed it. We know that there'll be instances out of everyone's control. For instance, different states might not allow you to take delivery of your vehicle right away because you might require a state license, because that's the rule in that state. So for that period of time, while you're waiting for your license to come in, you still need to be mobile. And that's when we provide a rental car in the interim.
Okay. If you can just maybe use maybe the last couple of transactions that you've had, for example, let's use that Toyota Camry example. So if someone was accessing or purchasing that type of vehicle, approximately, what would their monthly payment be for the car insurance and so on and so forth?
Again, Ron, it really depends on what state they're in, right?
I see.
It depends on what state they're in. It does depend on the age, the state that they're going to be driving in. So it's really different. And even the county matters, the county that they live in. So it's really hard for me to just say on average, what the payment is. Because if you're in New York, it's definitely going to be higher than somewhere else. But, the real idea is that you're going to pay a lower premium because we're not taking into consideration that you've never driven here before.
All right. So very good. So the contact information is here on the screen. We'd ask everyone to please take note of this. There's a web address here. There's also an email address and a U.S. telephone number. We encourage all applicants to contact International AutoSource directly. We're pleased and grateful for the opportunity of bringing this information to you. WorldWide HealthStaff does not have any financial interest on whether an applicant is dealing with International AutoSource or not. Our goal in putting on and bringing forth these webinar sessions is simply to provide information, to provide resources so that all international nurses can be as successful as possible, both on their relocation to the United States and then once they're here, that their sort of acculturation process is as seamless as it possibly can be. Afia, thank you again so much. Are there any closing thoughts or just suggestions that you would like to leave with the attendees today?
Ron, again, I thank you for the opportunity to be able to at least share some of the insights of the challenges. Most of the customers that we speak to don't realize all the aspects that it takes. It's not just about the financing and it's not just about the car. There's a lot more to it with rules and regulations and registration. So I really appreciate that we had the opportunity to express that here. But the main thing that I want anybody who's listening to the webinar to walk away with is that our program really does hold your hand through the entire journey, so that this doesn't have to be a mystery for you. You have somebody that's going to coach you through the entire transaction so that you can be confident that you're paying the absolute lowest price and that you'll be driving as soon as you arrive.
All right, Afia, thank you very much. I'm also excited to share with everyone that has joined us today that our next webinar in this session will be in 2 weeks' time on Friday, February the 26th. And at that time, we're excited to welcome a representative from the global office of RE/MAX Realty. RE/MAX Realty is one of the largest real estate companies in the world. And at that time, we'll be joined by Mr. Steve Charlotte. He has worked extensively with individuals who are moving to the United States, and he'll be sharing with you information that will be very valuable to you in the realm of your initial accommodations when you arrive in the United States, as well as the planning that you can do now already for eventually being able to buy your own home in the United States. So that's 2 weeks from today, February the 26th. It'll be at the same time. The registration information will be published soon. Please be looking for that. Again, February 26th. RE/MAX Realty talking about short-term accommodations in the United States, as well as information relative to being able to purchase your own home, which is a dream for everyone, for all of us. So, Afia, thank you again. Thank you, everyone, for joining this presentation today. At WorldWide HealthStaff Solutions, it is our high privilege to be working with many thousands of international nurses currently on their way to the United States. We continue to work with healthcare employers across the country. The demand for direct hire, permanent placement has never been greater than it is today, and we look forward to serving many more international nurses in the days and weeks to come. Thank you again. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.